Hello, everybody. Welcome to our lecture, Practical Research 1, Quarter 1, Module 2 on qualitative research and its importance in daily life. So, in Module 1, we have already learned the nature of inquiry. How do we go about the different qualitative and quantitative measurements? But this time, we will go more deeper on its significance in our daily lives. And to start with, our objective for this lesson is the following. Number one, um, we wanted you to study this module, and you are expected to perform the following. Number one is to describe the characteristics, the strengths, the weaknesses of qualitative research. And the second one is to identify the kinds of qualitative research. The third one is to familiarize the qualitative research in different fields. And lastly, to determine the importance of qualitative research in different fields. And before that, we will have a sort of pre-test for us to check our knowledge on how far we have gone through, uh, learn from our previous lecture. The direction is to choose the best letter and the correct answer. You can write this in your activity notebook. So the same instruction pa rin. You simply write the keyword for each item, and then you write your answer. For example, letter A, and then give the description. If the description is too long, you can simply have some shortcut. All right. So let's start. Number one. One characteristic below is not of qualitative research. A. It focuses on participants' perceptions. Letter B. It takes place in a natural setting. Letter C. Its method use is interactive. And lastly, it analyzes data using statistical tools. Number two, research results require exhaustive analysis of the meaning of the data. And this shows the following. A, weakness of qualitative research. B, strength of qualitative research. Letter C, for improvement of qualitative research. And letter D, direction of qualitative research. And for number three, this field of qualitative research is concerned with the evaluation of students' learning outcomes. A, technical communication. Letter B, education. Letter C, psychology. Or letter D, advertising. Let's have number four. It is believed to be one of the weaknesses of qualitative research. A, it can develop theories. Letter B, it has several avenues to understand phenomena. Letter C, it is a way a researcher perceives things as he is immersed in the study. Or letter D, it answers certain phenomena, social, economic, political, and psychological. And number five, this is the field of qualitative research where people's traumatic experiences are studied. A, technical communication. B, education. Letter C, psychology. Or letter D, social work. Next, number six, It is an investigation of particular person, group, or situation for a long period of time. A. Grounded theory. B. Historical analysis. C. Content and discourse analysis. Or letter D. Case study. Number seven, one of the following is a weakness of qualitative research. A. Data are based on human experience. B. It includes a detailed examination of issues. Letter C. It can be quickly revised as new information emerges. Letter D. The confidentiality of the subject limits the presentation of the findings. Let's have number 8. It is studying the past to understand the present time. A. Grounded theory. B. Historical analysis. C. Content and discourse analysis. Or letter D. Case study. Number 9. This kind of qualitative research requires the examination or analysis of the substance or content of the communication that takes place in different forms. A. Case study. B. Historical analysis. C. Content and discourse analysis. Or letter D. Phenomenology. Number 10. It is a kind of qualitative research that explains how people find meaning in their daily experiences. A. Case study. Letter B. Historical analysis. Letter C. Phenomenology. Or letter D. Grounded theory. Next, number 11. One way of collecting data about students' attitudes towards math is through observation in actual class. It is because in qualitative research, data should be collected in the blank. A. Difficult situation. B. Natural setting. C. Gathering of people. Or D. Closed area. Next, number 12. In qualitative research, data are collected in different manners. The reason behind this technique is to then A. Gather a comprehensive and rich description of the subject. B. Give options to the researcher which data are best. Letter C. Keep the researcher busy for the entire period of the study. Or letter D. Give justice to the chosen participants of the subject by exposing them to different situations. Number 13. Driven by curiosity, a researcher wants to analyze the lifestyle of the Manobo tribe of Bukidnon. This study falls under blank. A. Case study. B. Historical analysis. C. Ethnography. Or D. Grounded theory. Next, number 14. Your teacher requires you to study the influence of Noli Me Tangere to the lives of Filipinos during the Spanish regime. The research you are doing is A. Case study. B. Historical analysis. C. Ethnography. Or D. Grounded theory. Lastly, the researcher is analyzing the code mixing occurrences in conversations between the Cebuano teacher and Higaonon learners. This kind of study is A. Content and discourse analysis. B. Historical analysis. C. Ethnography. Or D. Grounded theory. Right, finalize your answer and we will be checking your work. All right, let's proceed to our lesson one, the value of qualitative research, its kinds, characteristics, uses, strength, and weaknesses. So please take down notes, important points to remember in your practical research notebook. So before we proceed to the next lesson, let us recall the concepts you have learned about the definition of research, importance of research in daily life, and characteristics, processes, and ethics of research. And with that, let's have this short activity. Kindly rearrange the jumbled letters to form the concept described in each item. Write your answer on your activity notebook provided before each item. Number one, research is based on direct experience or observation by the researcher. Kindly describe the jumbled word. Number two, it is based on valid procedures and principles. You kindly answer. Number three, it starts with a problem and ends with a problem. All right, for number four, it proves analytical procedure in gathering the data, whether historical, descriptive, and case study. Number five, it is conducted in a methodological manner without bias, using systematic methods and procedure. Number six, its design, its design and procedures are replicated or repeated to enable the researcher to arrive at a valid and conclusive result. Number seven, it exhibits carefully studied judgment. Number eight, it is a process of naturalistic inquiry that seeks in the in-depth understanding of social phenomena with their natural setting. Number nine, it is an ethics of research which enables you to keep promises and agreements. Can you give your answer? Number 10, it is an ethics of a research that gives proper acknowledgement or credit for all the researchers. Number 11, this type of research that is purely direct application but expanding the nature of understanding about the problem. Number 12, it is a process that answers what information is already available. Number 13, it is a process that answers how to identify or select your respondents. Number 14, an ethic of research which guarantees unpublished identity of the subject. And lastly, it is an ethic of research that ascertains the safety of the people involved in the process. All right, finalize your answer. Okay, so let's now proceed to the next lesson. So what will you do to give the proper description of the things around you? So for example, naa ka sa inyong balay or naglaag ka um, sa suba, sa awang. How are you going to describe the place, the situations, or the environment? Like yesterday, kusog kayo ang ulan, how do you feel about it? And of course, no, you must use your senses to simply describe your observation. And this time, you do it yourself and you try to determine what senses you will use to describe the things listed in the first column. So this time, you check the appropriate column in the table to accomplish it. And the first one is then for you. So for example, we have here the food. Can you see it? Yes. Can you taste it? Of course. Can you smell it? That's why there's a check. Can you touch it? It's a yes. And can you listen to it? Can you listen to the food? But so now you simply answer this table and you describe the following items from music up to water. Like you can try to screenshot or take a photo before we will move to the next slide. All right, let's continue. We get to know the things, people, and situations that we encounter through rich descriptions using our senses, right? In qualitative research, the same scenario is true, and we have to understand the events by collecting rich sources of data. And now, let us get to know the details of qualitative research. Your knowledge about qualitative research and how it differs from quantitative research is a requirement for further research journey skills. And therefore, I must say that you are already equipped with what it takes to embark on our new lesson. Are you ready? Good. Let's get started. So, what are the different kinds of qualitative research? Below are the kinds of qualitative research that you may venture on. Your choice of conducting a qualitative research study depends on your interest, on the issues and concerns need to be addressed in the community, and your own curiosity as an individual. Number one, qualitative research is phenomenology. It is the study of how people give meaning to their experiences, like the death of a loved ones, care for the people, and friendliness of people. Okay, that is phenomenology. Another one is ethnography. It is understanding of how particular cultural group goes about their daily lives, which include their organizational setup, internal operations, and lifestyle. Okay? From the word understanding. Okay? The cultural group. Don't forget this. So again, we have phenomenology, and the second one is ethnography. The third one is we have grounded theory. In grounded theory, this occurs when a researcher discovers a new theory based on the data collected. It is a research methodology for discovering theory in a substantive area. So for example, if nakay study about the likability of our subject in physical science, no, that is um, with the use of atomic finding the atomic number, protons and neutrons, what are the skills necessary for your classmates or students to learn from this lesson. So kung nakita nimo nga mas maayo di ay ang group work, so that theory is now considered as the group theory approach. That is the grounded theory. We also have the case study. Um, this study involves investigation of a person, either group, organization, or situation for a long period of time to explain why such things occur to the subject under study. Some examples of this type of study are the fields of social care, nursing, psychology, rehabilitation centers, for example, those who are um, an addict no, of marijuana or shubu or any addiction, even games, no, mobile games, education, or etc. Now, we also have content and discourse analysis. These methods requires examination or analysis of the substance or content of the communication that takes place through letters, books, journals, photos, video recordings, short messages, services, online messages, emails, audiovisual materials. So that's how we look into the materials. And lastly, we have historical analysis. This is the study of primary documents to explain the connection of past events to the present time. An example of this is explaining the happenings during the Marcos regime, no? Katong 1986 um, EDSA revolution. And this time, we also have characteristics and uses of qualitative research. Okay, this discussion will be further discussed on the next session. So for now, that would be all. And have a great learning. You can visit YouTube and look for this lecture for your personal consumption and review. That would be all, and have a great day.